Right, back live tonight, Takyon in Focus, and thanks for staying on. Some Johannesburg residents are battling dry taps for a 9th day now as the heatwave grips Gauteng. This after a power outage at the Eikenhof pump station affected supply last week. DA's Nicole van Dyk joins us now for more on that. Nicole, good to have you. Thank you very much for your time. Well, the latest update from the Joburg Water saying that the bulk supplier is currently providing consistent inflows to the Johannesburg water system. However, the high consumption rate can be attributed to the current hot weather condition, and our systems are undergoing a recovery phase. So this is leading to the reservoirs not filling up fast enough. Is that a good enough answer for you?
No, not really, and thank you very much for having us on. So it's all good and well to blame residents for your levels of consumption, but that would only apply in areas where they have water. In areas where they've been sitting with 9 days and more, and their reservoirs aren't filling, when they finally get a little bit of water, I don't think it's fair that you can blame residents for that.
So in what, Crosby Reservoir, Hurst Hill, Linden 1 and 2, Blagouri and Kensington, they're saying there's poor pressure there to no water because the capacity levels are just critically low.
So that is accurate. I mean, it would appear that Joburg Water and Rand Water, when this outage struck last weekend, there were no mitigation plans put in place to maybe isolate some of these reservoirs, monitoring them, making sure that they stay at a stable supply. And that is both on the Rand Water side and the Joburg Water side. So this hasn't been a pressure issue, at least not in people's taps. There is a pressure issue of Rand Water pumping at the right pressure to get it up to elevated areas like what we have in Roodepoort, what we have in Randburg. And the honest answer is that they didn't put in the right plans. So these reservoirs were never allowed to capacitate to the minimum 5 meters that they need in order for residents to access them. So water was available this morning for the first time in 9 days to most areas. It lasted up until about 1 o'clock, and then the whole reservoir, most of the reservoirs were actually dry again.
Yeah, and in that time, in that period when they dry up again, are you getting any communication?
Well, we had to alert Joburg Water that this was happening. There's about 7 or 8 councillors in the Hurst Hill and then Randburg areas that are affected. We did get access to tankers, which was really helpful, but on day 9, day 10, residents can't be showering under a tanker, and they can't be bathing the elderly and bathing their children in a tanker. We need viable, proper solutions. And we did have a meeting this morning with Joburg Water, numerous councillors across the city. We were very pleased that the mayor was on board at that sitting. He's offered some assistance. There'll be another meeting with councillors and the mayor tomorrow where there'll be further plans communicated. But right now it seems a case of plan A, plan B, plan C, and hoping that one of those works.
Yeah. So when you assess that kind of situation, I mean, is it a technical issue, incapacity in terms of technical ability, or incapacity in terms of having proper planning, just basic planning of how to intervene?
Well, I think it's a case of both. We did ask this morning for a disaster management strategy. We haven't really seen that yet in our Section 79. It was made available today. We still need to interrogate a little bit deeper. But this was caused by a power outage, and it has taken 9 days to recover. If something worse than a power outage hits or a transformer blows, then the city's in far deeper trouble. We have to remember that when we had the Rand Water shutdown last year, Eikenhof was only off for 36 hours, and there was mitigations put in place to keep some reservoirs isolated at a certain level. And it took the city 3 to 5 days to recover from that. Now it was off for 4 days intermittently, and no mitigation plans were put in place. Someone should have been monitoring the reservoir levels at both Joburg Water and Rand Water to make sure that we weren't going to be faced with exactly what we faced with. There are not enough tankers for the city at the moment. Right now, at least with a lot of reservoirs coming online, there are additional tankers to Randburg. But In Blairgowrie, we can see 2 tankers, which equates to 20,000 litres, deplete in 30 minutes.
So according to Joburg Water, there was, I spoke to them last night, they said there's alternative water supply, and that will certainly increase in affected areas. But the MD also indicating that, well, in some instances, they have to drive up a mountain, drop off the water, and drive back down and drive a long distance to go and refill elsewhere, and then come back and drive up the mountain. So they would like to have them coming a little bit more frequently than that, but because of the distance that they have to travel, it is proving to be a little bit of a challenge.
Well, again, I have to highlight that a tanker is wonderful possibly on day 3, day 4, day 5. When residents are going into day 10 plus, which is what we're going to be going into tomorrow morning, it's not salvageable. We need plans and we need communication very strongly from Rand Water on what the plan is with Joburg Water. Unfortunately, we're only getting 1/3 of the pie at the moment. We're only getting answers from Joburg Water, and they can't communicate at the same level that Rand Water can. The same way City Power can only communicate to a certain degree, then Eskom needs to kick in. So we need the same thing from Rand Water. We need transparency. We need what their solutions are. Because right now, like I said, it just seems like there's plan A to Z, and hoping that one of those works. We've got engineers that work in both these departments. We've got external engineers, water experts like Anthony Turton, who I'm sure would be glad to assist. And it's maybe time to start reaching out across all these aisles and seeing how we can come to a very immediate solution. Because it can't, Randburg specifically, Randburg is a CBD. It can't sit like this for the next 2-3 weeks. And right now there is no ETR for when there will be stable water supply. Right now it's just coming in and out is what we saw today. So we don't know what tomorrow holds.
Yeah. And how are the businesses surviving this kind of process?
Well, they're not really. A lot of businesses have had to intermittently close. A lot of them feel quite embarrassed because when patrons have to use the bathrooms, they need to then go with the patron, fill up a bucket, and then fill up the cistern. We've got residents who operate bakeries. You look at local spas, they operate bakeries, and any other local supermarkets. They now need to go and buy commercial water at an inflated cost, in addition to the generators that they're running to keep power on. It's just additional costs over and over and over again. And I think the biggest concern is we've got parents who can't send their kids to school because the kids aren't clean enough. Then the parents have to stay home with the children, costing them their own economy. And not to mention the effect that this has had on clinics within the Randburg area.
Nicole van Dyk, DA councillor there in the city of Johannesburg. I appreciate your time and thank you very much for coming on.